who had Bane's arm on his shoulder.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, dog. For you to actually recognize the fear
in his voice, yeah.
See him stop talking, dog. Immediately.
That's also another thing. I don't know if it's the directors or the actors, but I'm pretty certain American actors are superior, though. The way they're able to convey emotion and realism on the screen, it's like
do you know why? A lot of them are taught by behavioralists. You're taught how to initiate. I watch a lot of videos with micro expressions.
Okay. I actually have one. Downloaded the one about reading micro expressions recently. It's just very technical.
I'll send it.
I'll send it to you.
I have like a couple.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. But yo, homie, the like American acting. I always say, like, to me, I can vibe with South African media because South African actors are really good. But my problem with them is sometimes they look like they're acting. Like, I can pick up on the fact that they're acting, especially because I'm South African.
Yeah.
So I know what is appropriate for South Africans to do.
Particular gestures.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some things you expect. Yeah. So sometimes they be too controlled within the role. Whereas with Americans, maybe it's because I grew up watching American shit. Like, there's a looseness that they have when they're portraying characters on screen that makes you like accept it, even if the character itself is preposterous. But by virtue of how they're expressing it, like, you kind of get drawn in. Like, it's easier for me to lose myself in American-based like media than other groups of media. And I do watch like Korean shit and stuff. But like the acting in America, I gotta give it to them. Dog.
It has a lot to do, I think, with also the dialects. The word, the diction that they use, and the syntax that is applied to their scripts. Dog.
You know who impresses me as an actor?
Who?
Charlize Theron.
Yeah,
she
actually,
has no bad movie. Try and go look at her.
None whatsoever.
No bad movie, though.
None whatsoever. Even Atomic Blonde is it's the lowest for me. It's her least dopest movie, but it's better than majority of the movies that have come out, dog.
Have you seen The Old Guard?
Yeah, The Old Guard. Did I delete it? I had it before.
You have it. But I watched it when it first came out.
Yeah.
I was so impressed. I was like,
you know what I do too? I watch a movie,
action movie type shit.
I watch a movie, and then maybe like 5 times. I'll watch it repeatedly like 5 times, just to grasp, to catch on to the things that I've mixed. Delete it, and then spend a long time without watching it, and then watch it again.
Hey, man,
but you know who's my favorite director? Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin, me too.
Sure.
Like, he doesn't have a bad project under his belt. And then,
there's one.
What? Which one?
There's a movie about 5 chicks. It's in grayscale as well.
I don't even think I know.
I forgot the name of the movie. That's how.
I haven't seen like a bad production from him anymore.
But you get Inglourious, then you get Inglourious Basterds. You get Django, and then you get The Hateful Eight, and then you get Pulp Fiction, and then you get, he acts in Night and Day. You get, what's this? Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Hollywood, yeah.
And Once Upon a Time Kill Bill.
Kill Bill is Robert Rodriguez.
Didn't he have something to do with Kill Bill?
Yeah, he's a executive producer. But him and Robert Rodriguez's work is similar. Robert Rodriguez made Spy Kids, made what else? This movie, Sin City, the first Sin City.
I'm pretty sure what Spy Kids like literally more than 100 times in my life.
But there's another one that came out.
I don't like the new one. I don't like the new one. Okay, maybe
I haven't checked it out.
Cause maybe I'm not a child anymore, so I don't identify. But I remember how fascinated I was with the idea of spy kids, like spy children. Cause think about it, like if you literally could have a spy organization of kids, they could get anything. And like, and
kids are hyper intelligent.
Exactly. Like they're very receptive to anything and everything. And I was thinking, like, if, like, for example, any government was to find a bunch of kids in their military installation, it's not like they'd be quick to be like, "Who are you? We're gonna torture you," or some shit like. You know, they'd be like, "We're your parents.
Kids.
What's going on?" Yeah, kids, exactly. So like, those would make the best spies. So I was very interested in that.
And kids listen, dog.
Yeah, and they
listen.
Like
they also regurgitate white
suicide bombers, in Middle Eastern countries. A lot of the time are children.
Children.
Because they will do it without hesitation.
You know why? because the children are naive, dog.
Yeah.
They don't know what. Sometimes they don't fully. And I say the prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed.
Yeah.
So they don't have
judge.
the precognizance to actually think of the future fully.
Yeah. They
are learning it.
Yeah, they're in the present a lot of the time. Hey, yo, man, let's get into like a bit of politics in the sense like the whole Donald Trump land expropriation bill.
Put Donald Trump.
Thank you. That arguably may be the question that defines this whole discussion. Hey dog, this nigga be on some South Africa's land redistribution policy is negatively affecting American foreign policy and is putting Americans in danger. I'm like, what? How? Dude, I literally read the statement from the White House itself about like the executive orders about how they're cutting aid to South Africa. It is the most.
And you know the aid they're cutting, Joe.
It's so ignorant, dog. It's literally based on fallacious foundings. Like the whole basis of them saying we are mistreating a segment of our population. And
can I hotspot now?
Oh yeah. We're mistreating a segment of our population. And
that population, that's 0.9% of South Africans. About like 1% of South Africa's population is white. 1%.
What is it? 1%? Isn't that 2
Why? One. Then there aren't that many. You also have to take.
I can remember 2 to 3, but okay. Let's do this right. In South Africa, there's approximately 60 million people, right?
69.
60. Oh shit, 69 now.
Yeah.
Damn, 69.
69.
Dude, I'm pretty sure a good portion of that is foreigners because that's not the number I checked out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and they are foreigners.
And I don't think we've reproduced to that level where it's justified as 69.
Majority of the people who are being delivered in government hospital facilities are foreigners now.
Which is fucking scary. And like no one wants to address that. But what I was trying to say is okay, there's 69 million people in this country. How many of those people are of European descent? Is it less than 5 million?
What's 1% of
69
million? No, if 1% of 69 million is 690,000, then it can't be. Maybe you're right. Maybe 5%.
Yeah, like, I remember it was.
Because I remember, like, I'm sorry to interject.
In apartheid, they were 15%.
Yeah.
Then ever since they've been decreasing over time. So now it should be approximately.
I think the majority of us I think we measured like the African ethnicity. Black people took up like 70% of South Africa's population. So 30% is miscellaneous.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, with foreigners, it's pretty high.
It's 4.5.
But
because I remember Indians are supposed to be in like the 2 or 3%.
Sure.
And then
coloreds
are like almost 10, 12, something like that.
Sure.
So yeah, I remember.
They make up a large number as well.
And I think the problem with coloreds is colors are weird. They're not one.
Technically, they are black.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're not
mulatto.
Mulatto,
mixed race is black, dog.
According to white supremacy, one drop of Negro blood makes
in you
black. So it's just that they have this profound hatred of black people. They can't even acknowledge the fact that a good.
It's because they hate themselves. The cognitive dissonance.
Majority of the gene pool is African. In whichever way you justify, whether you say it's Khoisan black or so-called Bantu black, majority of your gene pool is African.
Black.
So what are you talking about? They just consider themselves superior and better by virtue of the fact that
the majority of those same people, colored, are of Xhosa and Tswana descent, because that's where the Khoisans migrated. I think I was gonna read it up myself.
Oh,
thank you. Ooh. issue.
But yeah, hey, homeboy like be wilding, and then Elon Musk, like that nigga went from he portrayed himself a couple of years ago when he started doing podcasts and shit, like almost like a naive billionaire, like he didn't understand his place and position in the world.
But
and now he's went full neo-Nazi. This nigga literally did a Hail Hitler salute, dog. Like, a sick hail. Like he made it look like.
When was this?
Like a week ago. I think it was a week.
Sure.
Last week or something, or beginning of this week. But like he kind of made it look like a gesture where he was doing something, but within it, like you could see, like if I show you the video,
make sure that the heel click,
yeah, the heel click, exactly. If I show you the video without like any sound,
sure,
you'd be like, this nigga doing a Nazi.
Hail Hitler.
Hail Hitler.
That's
and, like,
crazy.
That's what everybody talked about, and I'm like, okay, homies are like trying to get momentum for this far right wing thing by just making shit up online. And he owns a whole social media now. And Twitter, right? And he's the most famous person on Twitter. He made himself the most famous person on Twitter. Like he literally manipulated the algorithms so that they promote his content above everyone else. Like he literally broke Twitter. It was never meant to operate like that. Hence, whenever you see like an Elon Musk tweet, you always see it on your timeline, regardless of.
No more ungamfollow.
Yeah. So like,
I'm not a big Twitter fan.
I'm also Twitter's uncivilized. Though. Twitter is.
That's where you find most narcissists.
I've never been able to sensibly communicate.
As a person with narcissistic traits.
Yeah, but even when it was still civil, so to speak.
Sure.
To me,
it was never civil.
Exactly.
It was never ever at all.
Like extendedly mean for no reason. Like,
myself included, dog. When I started using Twitter, dog, I'd get people who try to hit me with snide comments. And then I'd start now retorting, and it'd be a back and forth. That's what made me get off Twitter, because I didn't have the energy down to continually battle people.
Me, I look at people I have on Twitter, and like their whole feed is them with arguments with people.
Right.
It's like, oh my god. Like I stopped doing that years on Facebook, dog. Like,
and you used to enjoy. You were doing it as a teenager. You were young when you were doing that age.
I know, dog.
People do it under the guise of speaking up for yourself, of freedom of speech, of having an opinion, dog. Like, okay, I see why, dog, being politically correct most of the time doesn't work. Yeah. But nakona, politically correct without, like, you have to be politically correct with tact.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of people don't have tact.
Yeah,
they just assume.
People say any and everything on Twitter, regardless of how egregious it is. Like, it could be, I mean, like, you have whole, for example, Nazi sympathizers, Holocaust deniers, people who say slavery was a good thing. Like, people say the most obscene shit on Twitter.
Just to get a reaction.
Other people. And I'm like, I don't like that. Like, it's
have you seen these groups on Facebook, like these anime groups that you think are solely innocent? It's just the contents that's discussed is mostly enemy. No, it's not. The pictures they post have a racial connotation to it. Like,
that's another thing.
Particularly with the page here, the boys.
The nerds. No, racist nerds are dog.
Super racist.
I was like this to me has been like.
Are you familiar with Jujutsu Kaisen?
I think I watched the movie. I haven't watched the series, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the battle with Ulukuza with the black guy in the movie.
Yeah.
Miguel.
They take off his head, man, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they don't take off Miguel's head.
Oh, okay.
Basically. And then you go back to Akira Toriyama and his drawing of Mr. Popo.
Yeah, that's still questionable.
It's true. And apparently Mr. Popo is from another. He's a being from another universe.
Yeah, that's the justification I got. They say Mr. Pope in Japanese culture or that representation. He's some sort of god. Yeah.
But the giant red lips and the painted black and the like pitch black or jet black skin tone. That's blackface.
He's always subservient.
Dog.
Subservient to, like,
he's a slave.
He's a slave basically. And then which is even, you know what bugs me out is when you learn how powerful Mr. Popo is.
Super strong.
Remember when the boys Trunks and
Goten
woke up from their sleep and then they transformed and he was like not playing with them, but like he was trying to put them back to sleep. And
my nigga.
But do you see how easily he controlled them? And going Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan. So what does that Popo could have fought Vegeta. Popo could have fought Nappa. Popo could have fought Reddit. Popo could have fought the Saberman. But
because he's a nigga, you know, like
he had to chill and serve the master Okami.
Some bullshit though.
Right?
That's some bullshit.
It's wild though.
But yeah, dog. So like Trump and his gang of ragtag bandits and shit, they trying to basically disassemble the American states and bring about this whole new totalitarian era whereby white supremacy will still reign supreme. And I think it's because they were seeing that the world was slowly becoming more conscious of white supremacy and was consciously fighting against it. And so they took that as the world is becoming anti-white.
Umhlaba uyabhubha, in other words. That's how they took it.
The world is no longer going to be run by white people, so the world must be coming to an end. You know, because Europeans are inherently supposed to be in charge of the
Hey, Chief.
world.
Everything evolves. What doesn't evolve dies. White people are not evolving. That's why their numbers are dwindling.
They can't even reproduce themselves, which is a very startling thing for me to recognize that here you have a bunch of people who for the past 6,000 years have been on a constant war path with the rest of the human family.
Right, in Breda.
Yeah, and then they get to the top of power, they have control of global resources, but they still can't reproduce themselves. Like the most fundamental
they can make themselves in a lab.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of cabbage babies? Like babies that were...
No, I haven't heard of it.
Apparently, there's like whole subsections of the white populace that we perceive as being just normal, real, but really,
they were grown in labs.
Exactly.
Hey.
The lab grown. Like, this is not me saying. This is other Europeans talking about this. You know when you run across content online of Europeans.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Joe. I'm sorry to deviate from topic, Joe, but I'm thinking of Chris Hani at this point. Like I wanna le mbulalile Jan Walus. There was a feed I saw on Facebook where they put up banners at stadiums, soccer matches, claiming he was a hero, dog.
Are you serious?
Yeah, in his home country. Yeah, he was a hero, dog. I shared it, I think, but it's fine. I'm sorry. Sorry to interject.
That's very important,
right?
Because what does it tell you? White supremacy. We like to pretend as though it's a localized phenomenon. Fuck that.
It's all around the world.
It's a global.
It's all around the world. It's worldwide, my guy.
These motherfuckers literally believe this planet is theirs, and that anybody who challenges to power is inherently evil or fucked up. Hence, anyone that's ever fought the power is called a terrorist or something of that nature.
Bro.
And it's like the biggest terrorists in human history are the motherfuckers who stole whole continents. Whole continents, my nigga. Whole continents. Three continents. How many? There's 5 or 6 continents, right?
7.
7, right?
It's all 7. Wait. It's not just all 7.
These niggas stole definitely 3.
Only one survived. Yeah. Only one survived. Only one continent survived. You find white people in Southern America. You find white people in Northern America. You find white people in Australia. You find white people in Africa. You find white people in India. You find white people in Europe. 6 continents.
So basically, I think what's yours? Antarctica, and even then you find white people
there. But you find white people in the islands around the world.
A global peace treaty around Antarctica, and it's only supposed to be inhabited for like scientific reasons. No one is supposed to do mining, have strategic military bases. But I'm pretty sure they have some military
bases. They do.
And you know, now I will get into this another time, but when you actually read into the literature about World War II, you know, the Nazis may have actually not only won World War II, but the Nazis are actually the ones currently who are in power.
Hey, Chief, Have you seen this documentary Yaga Hitler? Hitler escaped World War II. Via Argentina. And while he was in Argentina, he established a new Nazi camp there, and they ended up ruling Argentina there. And the people were subservient to them.
And also Chile and the Chileans. And sure, those people look browner than the Germans, right? So they were using them for experimentation.
Sure.
There's a dude, I think Heinrich Himmler.
Yeah.
Like he was like one of the right hand men of
Heinrich Himmler.
Yeah, of Hitler. He also ended up either in Brazil or like
sure.
The country you just mentioned. But these people committed the worst atrocities in human history, and they went on to live their best lives afterwards. Some of them were some of them were taken by America and Russia. And
apparently Hitler died in the 70s because of cancer. 70s, Joe. That guy died in the 70s.
If there's one group of people who always escape justice, it is white men. And it's crazy that now you have white men talking about they're the victims. I'm like,
of what?
Who's in charge of the planet? Who's making you guys victims? Like whenever you hear white supremacists go on about how white males are the new victims of the modern era, I'm like, who's making you guys victims?
This is what bugs me with them, because they're starting to have, like, not necessarily white people in general, né? But the white men that I come across on social media, those guys, they aren't like the elites, and because they aren't like the elites, they develop this victim mentality, and they are at a better standing than us as black men. They could have it easier to actually go up the ladder, when you have to get a law degree for you to be taken seriously, for your name to be brought up in many conversations. You have to do articles. You have to save up your own money, go to the bank. This is how much I have. This is what I need to make a success of myself. And they don't even necessarily give you what you need. They'll give you lesser than that because they deem you worthy of what they are giving you. And that bugs me, Joe. Whereas a white guy could go to the bank and get tons and tons of money just based on his race.
When I was doing
his race,
a certificate for business studies.
Sure.
And one of the things they were teaching us about was about credit scores.
Sure.
And how black people have the most disfavorable credit scores, while Europeans in this country, our credit scores are like fucking flourishing. As a result, they get easy bank loans.
Ngizotshela umuntu uhlala eBhakpan umntanakhe uye esikolweni ngeenyawo angaqoka ngingicathulo ukuthi une credit score engqono ukudlula mina ngina how many years ngisebenza ngilibela ngithatha amaloni ngibhadala imoto ngibhadala indlu ngiyenza izinto ezi-functional ezibonisayo ukuthi I'm a contributing member to society.
When you get to the roots and the premise of what these Europeans are actually fighting for, that's precisely what they're fighting for. That level of privilege that they have.
They want it back.
Not they want it back. They want to maintain it.
They want to maintain it.
Because they can see that this current generation of people on the planet, especially Africans, who are very aware.
Yeah.
So the bullshit that has been going on in previous generations, we're not going to allow it.
Yeah, we're not going to accept it.
Exactly. So they want to nip it at the bud and try and curtail.
It's too late, Chief. Yeah. It's too late. You could have killed Mandela while he was in prison. You could have killed Chris Hani before making him a martyr. You could have got rid of Winnie Mandela before she became the militant lady that she is now. Before she became the military lady that she is now. We are not of the same mentality as our parents, bro. But at the same time, we have these luxuries that make us weak. Because we are comforted by them, dog.
And it's crazy that you say that. You know, once upon a time when I was like still hardcore Christian,
sure.
They said this. I read this article. They were talking about the beast, like 666, like
sure.
The beast, and they were saying, there will come a time where the world is infatuated with the presence and the gifts of the beast. And the real question is, once humanity has received these gifts from the beast, will they be willing to give them back in order to attain the life of the Lord? And it was like the question this Christian person was asking. And it's true now. Like, and it makes me question like where we are as a country and as people, right? Most people, when you tell them about driving Europeans out the land and back to their countries of origin, they always say, well, what are we gonna do? Who's gonna create all these things? And I'm like, so you mean to tell me black people have no powers of invention?
Most of the inventions that are in the world, the toilet seat, a fan, basic things, peanut butter, are black inventions, too. Cell phone is a black invention. The telephone, okay, Alexander Graham Bell. But cell phones are a black invention. The please call me as a black invention. It was taken by a white man and used freely without actually compensating homeboy who made it. Homeboy is in court right now fighting for his due diligence.
You're fighting for his due diligence. Me, because we try and educate ourselves as young black men, we are aware of these things. But the vast majority of black people are not aware of these things.
Nor do they care.
They are under the impression that we are merely recipients of innovation. They don't even see that innovation happens here at home all the time. All the time.
We were innovating masenzi moto ntanga ngeguphu zamabisi ntanga. We were innovating masithatha ntanga matrati ntanga senzi moto ntanga thina. The kids nowadays can't do that ish.
Why? You see,
they're caught up in media.
I have a theory about this whole cell phone, social media. Yes, it's good for communication, connectivity. But when you look at it from another perspective, there's a whole aspect of it that contributes to intellectual study. Yeah, it stuns you intellectually. Intellectually.
Truly, yeah. Like I've noticed with myself
like there's certain things you would pursue had you not have had a phone.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things you'd be researching, literally going to the library to find out about.
Yeah.
But because you have a phone,
you have easy access to that information.
You don't necessarily do,
Fam, like Njoba Tangukuluma Ntanga, I was sorry for actually interrupting you, Joe, but I just wanted to add on to the fact that my concentration levels right now are not the same as yesteryears when I didn't use my phone as frequently.
Me too. But me, that's one of the reasons why I'm mostly on the laptop on my phone. Because
but
I recognize
that concentration now. But in the same sense, I'm trying to actually teach myself to use this thing to improve my concentration. Like for a reminder for meds, for bedtime, for reading time, to wake up my bed. I do that just by using my phone.
You can make technology a catalyst for your development.
Sure.
I'm just arguing against making technology a crutch.
It shouldn't be a crutch. And I concur with you wholeheartedly,
Because who was saying, in a few generations, human beings won't be able to do mental math.
I see it. I see it. We're going to require calculators.
But then I also wonder, is it okay? Like, maybe we will lose the ability to do mental math, but maybe we won't have to because we'll have something like neural nets, like a neural link.
Sure.
Like people will just be connected to the internet full time.
Sure.
But then to me, it begs the question of what kind of human being do we become when that happens?
That's a very powerful question, Joe. And Nakwana, do you really want a neural link? I won't get a neural link. Yes, it might help me have connection to the internet, but neural links can be hacked. Do you want someone effing around in your brain, making you do things that you are not aware of?
Yeah. No, Chief. Who's this guy? He wrote Homo Deus. Noah Naval or something. He's a very famous author right now. Basically, he's been writing about the fourth industrial revolution and how technology is going to fundamentally change humanity, and then through technology we're going to extend our lifespan. We're going to fuse with machine and artificial intelligence, and basically Homo Deus, we're going to become Homo God, like our human gods on this planet. Now, my question with that is, okay, fine. Let's look at the history of people who attempted to be gods amongst humans. How have they behaved? Now what happens when we literally have the power of God? Are we spiritually mature enough and enlightened enough to truly have that power?
Before World War I, the Japanese were a military power, and then America tanga hit them with the blue boy, and then they were posting like, yeah, I'm a Hello Kitty, and making enemy. That was a very heavy quote, dog. That is power, dog. That is God level power,
dude.
And it's dangerous.
The Japanese got bombed into oblivion. They started getting into shit porn. Like they put
hentai.
Hentai. The pornography is an indication of a people who've been traumatized.
Severely traumatized. When there's a word that they use that
Japan has a deep history of a warrior culture. But the fact that they curtail samurai, as you say, into being anime. Do you know? I talked about this last week. Hikokomori type of thing.
Yeah.
Like humans. Like someone who stays indoors.
Sure. Yeah, I know about hikokomori. Because there's a program down. There's a channel.
Proud warriors.
Into recluse.
Social retard.
Sure, they become socially inept. That's messed up, though.
That's power.
Sure, but in the same sense, they also have secret organizations that thrive, like the Yakuza. They still maintain those warrior.
They very like
sure.
But they're very traditionalist organizations. They keep the old ways.
Sure. And those are very necessary because
they're very necessary. In fact,
when we as men function,
you know, they say unorganized crime is far more dangerous than organized crime.
Yeah.
When there's organized crime, there's order.
Sure.
There's someone who's accountable.
It's planned. It's strategic. It's well thought of. There's contingencies
for the crime.
Yeah. There's contingencies
organized crime
for problems.
Is piracy basically?
Sure.
Pirate shit. Pirate shit is
look at looting. Imagine if they loot your shop and you're in it. What's gonna happen to you?
Because obviously you also wanna defend your shit. So yeah, man. Maramina, it's one of the reasons why I tell niggas who are gang involved, because y'all niggas are stupid. Like these are 26 and 20.
Bruh.
Like y'all niggas are backwards. Do you know how much power you'd have in our society if y'all niggas would actually strategically think about how to do things and get things
and you
done?
taught niggas outside, bro. Tanga, these are the burbs, tanga. Mara tanga, we are born and tanga, kunama tag, tanga, 27, la,
eduza. And they're not even supposed to exist. Like, you know,
here,
27, exactly.
Here, tanga, this is an area of, for lack of a better word, luxury. Because we grew up experiencing that Crystal Park was a place of luxury. When our parents could afford to take us to decent schools, they took us to schools in places of luxury. They took us to white schools to learn at a better rate, to understand more, to be exposed to a different type of world. Like when I went to Noordeleg, there was a cat in Noordeleg that drove to school a Porsche 911 Carrera. The teachers had to open the gate for him. The teachers were opening a gate for a student. I wouldn't have seen that shit in the hood.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to say this, but
I'm just saying, you're making me more aware of like class difference. Like the class difference in South Africa is stalking me. Like it's big.
Alexandra Santini,
like it is big. And when they say we're the most unequal nation on earth, I'm like, people like to pretend as though we got to being that by mistake. Like it just kinda happened to us being in the.
It was a strategy.
Exactly.
It was a strategy implemented by the Queen of England. Kala.
You know.
Kala, because before Afrikaners got power, they were fighting with us against our colonizers.
British Crown.
Yeah, the British Crown, our colonizers. And when the British Crown gave up its power, it put them in power.
Basically gave us rednecks to run over us.
And they became our enemies. Instead of now learning from the oppression that their oppressors put them through, they themselves also turned into oppressors because they were abused. Abusers become abusers.
Hurt people.
Especially if you haven't actually resolved their trauma.
Sure, man. I mean, dog, the Afrikaners still now are still on some swart gevaar type shit in the sense that
Blind.
they still on some niggas is trying to get us, man.
Sure.
And I'm like, black people have not had that level of energy since the 90s, dog.
Listen, we don't care about them, dog.
Like,
what do we do care about is land.
Man. And that's because, and I said this in like one of my recording a couple of days ago, like, yo motherfuckers, we need land. We're not Atlanteans. We don't live in the fucking ocean. Everything, the basis of the whole economy is established on land. So to pretend as though these people, one, that they're not invaders, two, that they didn't steal land, and three, of the fact that they're benefiting from crimes against humanity for a whole, not just one nation. Remember, we are a collection of nations in South Africa.
Tribes.
No. They use the word tribe to take away from the fact that we're nation states.
We have multiple. The fact that we have 11 official languages. Okay, let's exclude.
No one ever asked themselves why.
Let's exclude the two. Let's exclude English. Wait, let me say this. Let's exclude English because English is not a language that developed in South Africa. But we have Xhosa, we have Sotho, we have Sepedi, we have Setswana, we have Isindebele, we have what else? We have isiZulu, we have Afrikaans, we have Shona. No, not Shona. We have we have Tsonga. We have Tsonga.
Is Shona an actual language?
No, it's Tsonga. They prefer to be called Tsonga. We have Tsonga and we have Venda.
Why have I seen like people write Isishanga in like an official language?
It's derogatory. They're trying to be offensive.
Okay,
we have multiple languages, bro. Languages that are supposed to. Those are distinctive tribes, not tribes. Let me rephrase that. Nations. Because when shit popped, when they went to war, they were invading other nations. We have documented history of Zulus and Xhosas fighting. Each of those areas had their own kings. Mshweshwe was a king of the Sotho people. Bapedi had their own king. I just forgot. And this is my tribe. Yeah. But they had their own king. Of which those cats didn't take any L's, bro.
Yeah.
They didn't take any L's.
So,
but
you see what I'm saying, which they are worried about Africans becoming autonomous within Africa. Like, you must understand this. South Africa is one of the only functional states in Africa. In the sense that it has the capacity of an actual functional nation state. We can deploy our military. Yeah. We can exchange. We can trade internationally. We have international relations.
Sure.
Like everything that a nation state has, we have it in South Africa. What they fear is black South Africans creating a blueprint for the rest of Africans all around the world to follow.
Of which must happen.
And we have to do that. It's our responsibility. I phrase it differently. South Africa, if you understand what it is, is the new Egypt.
Sure.
It's the new Egypt.
Sure.
We're just slow to this realization that we are the new
There's a saying, I don't know how true this theory is, but it's said that the actual Garden of Eden was in South Africa.
Yeah, because it's called the Abzu.
Sure.
It's called the Abzu.
Imagine, this is the hub of the world.
I mean, there's been so much evidence to suggest that South Africa is not only the home of Homo sapiens, but just modern, let's say,
Mrs. Bless.
Like,
grade 5. I was 11 years old in grade 5 when we learnt about Mrs. Bless.
Like so many, not Homo sapiens, but hominids, for example, resided in South Africa. The southern tip of Africa. So it begs the question.
And then you get the deviants.
How much of life has really happened on the southern tip of Africa? Okay. And remember, if you actually look into this, there's whole monuments of stone settlements all around southern Africa. Of like
Mapumbu. These are things we learned from like an early age, a young age, my boy.
Dude, they were smelting gold before Europeans.
They were making rhinos out of gold. How do you make a rhino out of gold? Well, it's the process is simple. You put the metals through a crucible and whatnot, and you shape it. Yes, granted, but they did it. They were pre-technology,
dude. Listen,
and it was
look at what the Zulus did. They reinvented warfare by changing and modifying the spears. And modifying the
by
spears.
Shortening their spears
and making them practically into swords because they made the tip longer, the handle shorter. So basically, you had a spear and a sword
at the same time. And you could chug it.
Dog, I keep on saying, if we would only study ourselves, we would run the fucking world. The reason why I was watching Shabbat last night, dog. I watched maybe the first 30 minutes. In the introduction, they take you to in England after the one that came after they killed Shab.
I forgot his
He's the
name,
one that fucked up the Afrikaners. Remember the Afrikaners have this where they Tingan was in England and he was conversating with the Queen of England and he was talking about he wants his domain back, he wants his kingdom back.
Sure.
And guess what the Queen of England said? He said, listen, we cannot give you your kingdom back because the war path in which you people have initiated is one of immense nation building.
Sure.
And the king, Shaga, is more alive now in your people than he was when he was alive. So if I allow you to take your domain, you will intrude on our territory. And like basically she was saying, I cannot allow you people to continue with the momentum you have because you're going to become an overpowered people and eventually you're going to become a problem for us. So now, and it begs the question, imagine if the Zulu Empire was allowed to thrive without interference, how far would we be as a people?
Chances are the majority of Africa would be speaking Zulu. Because Shaka was actually starting to conquer
into like I was Zimbabwe,
sure.
And all these
it's going.
And again, when you look at that, now imagine we would have had a solidified nation states that's in charge of southern tip of Africa. What do you think this would have done to affect our trade, our development, technology, and whatnot?
If we control all the coast of Africa,
you see what I'm saying?
All of them.
How far ahead would we be had Europeans not fucked with our development? Now you think in Canada, when it's all said and done, the land, the mines, all the things that Europeans have stolen, they've stolen all that. But our time,
bro,
our time,
these people
we cannot get back the time they stole
that they taken
us.
From us.
Like our developmental journey, they fucked up our developmental path, and so we can never now know who we could have truly become.
Jan van Riebeck only arrived 1652, I think. Was it 1652?
Yeah, and that
was
after the
wait, hold on. There were already trades that were happening between Europeans and Africans before,
the Portuguese in particular.
And what I actually wanted to state before Ntanga Nyilo Kuzan about Jan van Riebeck and before my thoughts were deviated was the fact that Europeans always say that they found us in Amapeshu, in leather hides, and they gave us education and whatnot, which is actually stupid. It's a fallacy from my part because one, our climate permits us to wear minimal clothing. It is warm. You can't wear hide or full leather in heat. You are gonna suffer a heat stroke. Imagine
a blazer made of like fucking pure like
hide. No, bro. Like we must wear formal suits. Nah, bro.
And even they conveniently ignore the tribes or the nations that they found here in the southern tip of Africa. Once upon a time, were in North Africa, and we were dressed there. So what is the excuse there?
Fair.
Here's the thing: the people they call like southern Africans. We were once in Egypt. We were once in Sudan. We were once in Ethiopia. We were once East
in
Africa,
Spain, chief. We were once in Spain.
Like once you trace back our history and our lineage, and then you look at, for example,
who taught them how to make clothes?
Okay, do you know when the art comes from?
No.
The inspiration?
No.
From the hieroglyphs. Like look at the parallels between what they really do in terms of.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, I'm thinking of it and I'm seeing it.
It's actually a language. People just see patterns, but it's actually a language. It's a sacred language. And to me, I realized this the first time I took psychedelics. I was like, oh shit, whoever created this culture from Mandeville must have been in a psychedelic state of mind because they were trying to isn't my Wi-Fi, isn't my hotspot on? Turn it on, dog.
No, I didn't check.
Oh, okay. I was saying, this thing is a language, and homie was reflecting the basis of reality. I'm sure you've seen it on a psychedelic trip. You see sacred geometry, right?
Hey, bro, I see things in images. I see colors, Dama.
Exactly.
But you see sounds have a vivid image.
Yeah, a visual representation.
Sure.
Hence, when I tell people that music is color, people think I'm bullshit. I'm like, my God. Music is some other type thing, though. But then most people ignore the fact that the basis of the universe is sound.
Sure.
God spoke the universe into existence. Didn't imagine it into existence.
You and Tanga earlier about this is why I was asking you earlier about how intelligent is God, Tanga, for him to actually use words and bring about something into reality, dog. Like to make atoms collide, go be a big bang. And then planets and fall, and then you create the sun. You now put fish, put fish in the water, and those fish evolve. They move out of the ocean. They start crawling. They develop into creatures that are vast and wide in nature.
And you know what's crazy about life is the resilience of life. You know the Earth has suffered almost 5 major catastrophic world-ending disasters. And each and every time where life was almost wiped out of the earth, life came back stronger and more complex than before.
That's intense, Joe.
Like that's like you see, like there's an essence in which like life itself is almost like information processing. And with each iterating step, the processing becomes more and more profound and closer to the universe somehow. Hence, I think that's the project that we as human beings are embarking upon, is to become as close to the universe or as one with the universe as possible. And then to get to a point whereby the will of the universe is our will as well. I think that's where we're heading towards. Like I think that's when we attain like Godhead status or something. Like when the will of the universe is ultimately the same as our will. There's no contradiction. I think then you get to a point where now it becomes your job to watch over smaller civilizations. Like we're gonna be the civilization that's bringing up smaller civilizations and planting life maybe throughout the cosmos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
But that's maybe thousands of years from now. Who knows?
That's if we survive those thousands.
The Great Filter. Have you heard about the Great Filter?
No, I haven't heard about it.
Oh, it's basically a stage in the journey of civilization that a species has to pass through in order to survive. Like for example, artificial intelligence may be the Great Filter for us. Like in the sense that it might filter us out of the gene pool.
Skynet. Ay, magangane bafo. Yo, dog. Like 9, I am not a coordinator. I'm not gonna do that.
Were you able to log on?
Yeah, I'm on PNet right now, Joe. I'm busy trying to apply for posts.